The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon, everyone. We'd like to thank you for joining us for today's Executive Management Professionals webinar entitled Mastering the Right Product and Service Offerings. I'm Shannon Murphy. I'm the Vice President of Sales and Marketing here at ESA, and I'm also the staff liaison for our Executive Management Professionals group. First, I'd like to cover a couple of housekeeping notes before we get started. All callers will be muted for the duration of the call. Please be sure to use your chat or question log to submit questions, and all questions will be addressed at the end of the webinar. Additionally, a recording of the webinar will be available in our EMP resource library, which is located on our website at esaweb.org. I'd like to thank Deanne Hart. She is CEO of RFI Enterprises in San Jose, California, for presenting this webinar with me today. Deanne also serves as our ESA Executive Committee, or serves on our ESA Executive Committee, and as the chair of our Executive Management Professionals group. So without further delay, we'll jump right into the content today. What we're looking to cover for you are a very broad overview, and hopefully will give you a nice understanding of the electronic security industry and all of the products and services that are currently in the market today. How security companies are currently evaluating these new products and services, and certainly the main goal of this webinar is to provide you with tools and a methodical process to evaluate new products and services. The reason I'm showing this slide here is it's all about change management activities. And so we had conducted back in January of 2013 a survey of our executive management professionals. And ranking very high here at the top of the list, the most important objective is managing changes to your company's product and technology mix. The reason this is so important is because this was the reason that this EMP project was born. So our Executive Management Professionals group, along with the Alarm Industry Research and Educational Foundation, which is also known as ARIF, had joined forces with Bentley University to conduct a research project, which was the beginning stages of developing our ESA Product Selection Guide. So our EMPs engaged with Bentley back in 2013 to collaborate on this research to develop the guide. And what we did is we started with a focus group in December of 2013, which was then followed by a qualitative survey, which was fielded in January of this year. And what I wanted to do is also share with you the findings of the focus group. So what we had done is we conducted a 2-hour focus group with 6 executives from New England-based security integration companies in December, as I mentioned, on site at the Bentley campus. We were leveraging their Center for Marketing Technology, and the focus group was actually moderated by Professor Ian Cross, who is the director of Bentley Center for Marketing Technology. The purpose was to ensure that the quantitative survey that we would be following up with would cover the entire scope of issues. So in the focus group, what we uncovered was that existing suppliers strongly influence consideration of new product categories. This certainly wasn't a surprise. And we also uncovered that market awareness and customer demand for products is a very important factor. So we took a deeper dive with the qualitative research, and the results were definitely interesting. 99% of the respondents say that the appeal of new products to customers is very important. However, only 45% are testing interest with key customers. Also, 97% said the appeal of new products to prospects is very important. But only 20% test interest in products and services with key prospects. So on average, integrators would ideally increase the amount of time spent on their business as well. And the conclusion is there's a lot of guessing about customer and product needs and interest that's actually happening out in the marketplace. So what we had done, here's another kind of snapshot at some of the data that we were able to collect. This is actually going through the techniques and approaches that are currently used when considering the addition of new categories and products and services for your business. The data here is broken out by size of company, and you can see that the blue bars are actually representative of all respondents, and then we broke it out into segments. So these purple bars here show companies that are larger than $5 million in revenue. The green bar is 500,000 to 5 million, and the maroonish colored bar is 500,000 or less. So we were asking questions in terms of what companies were currently doing to evaluate these products and services. And you'll see here that bringing prospective vendors of products and services into their office for review with a product evaluation team is definitely high up here on the list The larger companies are absolutely engaged. 73% of them are doing that. And overall, it's about 53%. Another one that's ranking very high among the larger organizations are forming a multidisciplinary product evaluation team. So I will mention here to you as well, I'm not sure if you're doing that in your businesses now, but it's a really great way to bring everybody in the company that has responsibility in key areas together to make sure that everybody will be on board with new products and services as you start to roll them out, and make sure that their perspectives are certainly represented in the evaluation process. So the recommendation is to bring in sales, installation, finance, potentially central stations if that's applicable as well. So you can take a look at these numbers here, and this recording, as I mentioned, will be available in the EMP Research Library. So you can take a look at it in more depth later on as well. So what I'm going to cover now is the taxonomy that we had developed for the industry. It's broken out into major product categories, for example, access control and ID systems, alarm, digital health, and IT. We've also taken care to kind of highlight all of the different areas where RMR streams can be pulled from. So I'll let you take a look at those different products and solutions that are now available. And I wanted to mention that the complete product selection guide is available, or is available now, in the resource library, and we've actually added to this as well. So this is just a brief snapshot and sample for you to see here on the webinar. This is also kind of continued into video surveillance products and solutions, as well as IT and avian control products and solutions as well. And again, there's even more listed in the actual guide that you can download. So what I wanted to do now is actually turn things over to Deanne, and she's actually going to go through a checklist that we formulated for everybody to be able to utilize in going through the process. Deanne?
And I'll say good morning to everybody because I am on the West Coast and it's still morning here. This checklist is really when you take your evaluation team and look at what your company's goals are. So everybody kind of has to be in a line, and when you start having the conversation, it's amazing how quickly then discrepancies get brought to the forefront, and you can smooth those things out and start really defining what your company's goals are. So the first thing on the checklist is you really want to determine the purpose and goals of why you want that new product or service added to your offering. And you want to ensure that the vendor or the product or the service that you pick is going to help you achieve your goal, and what is your purpose really for moving forward. What are you looking to gain by doing this? You want to approach the new vendors and look at it really from a long-term strategic perspective. Look at what your 3 to 5 year strategic plan is, and then evaluate that vendor. And as we go further along, we'll talk a little bit more about ways to evaluate that vendor. You want to look at what your revenue projections are, and how that product or service will produce towards that revenue. And you also want to look at, is that product or service required to keep your business competitive and meet consumer demand as it goes forward. Shannon. There we go. Okay, and so continuing on with company goals is, will that product or service, is it going to increase your RMR? I know for us at RFI, we're looking to really build our RMR base, and what kind of products, what kind of services are going to help us achieve that goal, and what are the projections that we have specifically for that product that we want to bring in. Is it going to increase the value to your business? Well, obviously, you build your RMR, you're going to increase the value to your business. Is it going to help you hit those objectives that you want to hit? What investment do you have to bring to really bring that product or the service to market for your customers? Are you going to need to invest in additional equipment? If you have a central station and you're going to a mesh network, what is that going to require? What do you want to achieve, and really then get a bigger perspective on what that investment is going to be, and if you're willing to make that investment to take this product to your customers. And does this product differentiate your company from your competitors? Again, when you're looking at your company goals, you want to find something that's going to help you rise above everybody else, and is this something that will help you achieve that goal? And continuing with more company goals is, when you have that evaluation team set up with the key representatives from all your internal departments, You're looking to get people's buy-in and help to give and lead to the direction that you want the company to go. You want to start scoring the vendors, looking at the vendors that you have out there, using a vendor scoring system that we'll talk about a little bit later on, and really look at who has what out there that can help you attain the goals that you want to attain. Conduct a cost-benefit analysis prior to selecting a vendor. You want to make your decision based on, is this going to be a smart decision for your business? So if you want to add this new product or service, is that going to be, that cost-benefit going to be worthwhile to you? Now we'll talk a little bit about vendor evaluation. When you're talking about your different vendors, and we know, all the big vendors that are out there, but there's also some smaller companies that are coming up, research the companies that are out there. Get recommendations from your peers. And the things that you're looking for, what are those vendor strengths? What are their weaknesses? Is the company financially sound? Is it a company that's going to, that's been around for a while or going to be around for a while? What's their backing? Has it been established for a good number of years? Or if it's something new, what is their background? Has the vendor passed the background checks with the Better Business Bureau or another trusted source? Is it for the operational and financial fitness? Are they somebody that you want to do business with and you really want to take a look and do your due diligence where that's concerned? What is the product service roadmap for the plans for the future? Where do they see their products going? How do they see getting the products into a dealer's hands, or are they going to go direct? You want to ask those questions. Today it may be one way. Tomorrow it may be something different. So you want to ask those questions of your vendor and find out what they're looking for their future. And has the vendor been somebody that's been able to be responsive to the market needs? We've all seen many changes come into the market as far as technology is concerned, and the demands that are out there to increase our offering. Have they been receptive to that? Have they been moving forward and forward thinking? Also, how fast do they bring the new products and services to the market? Do they take a while, or do they say, okay, it's going to be out in October and it's really not out until January? What has been their path with this? Are there other markets that the vendor serves? Are they going different directions in order to get their product out there? Are there additional products that the vendor offers that can also maybe fit into different categories in your own business? Take a look at what's out there. And does the vendor have a proven track record of shipping the product by announced deadlines? Do they have the product in stock and ready to get on your floor where you need to get it? Or are they somebody who misses deadlines? You want to find that out. And you want to get the quotes and the proposals from that vendor up front. Some more things for the vendor evaluation, and for us, I know that this is a really big thing, is what kind of training does the vendor offer, in-house, online, etc.? How can they, are they going to come to my office and train my technicians or train my sales staff, or are they going to offer it at an ADI or someplace else? What you want to ask that question before you start working with them, so that you can see if that's fitting into what your company goals are. How many hours of training are required before your sales and service teams are going to be proficient? And does the vendor hold an annual dealer event? And the other part of this is there a minimum number of licenses or seats that are required by that vendor? Do you need to be maintaining certain kind of certifications? Do you have to have certifications if you're multi-office? You need to have certifications in every office? What does that look like to the vendor? What are they going to hold you accountable for, and how are they going to help you achieve those expectations that they have for having that relationship? Next is how many other dealers are selling the product in your market. This is something in all facets. What's your competition doing? And I know we're all looking at that. What are they doing? Where are they getting their products from? Vendor offer geographic exclusivity. I can't say it. Are they somebody that's going to say, hey, you know what? We're not going to move this outside a certain geographical location. We're going to allow you to be able to sell in a certain area, and we're not going to bring in other dealers to compete against you. What does that look like? Is fit with your needs? Operational, does the vendor come out and walk a job with you? Are they going to provide various support options for your operational teams, and then also as well as your sales team. And that support team that the vendor has, what does that look like? You know, what's their staff number to be able to tech support, what's their roles, response time? You know, for us on the West Coast, if it's an East Coast company, we deal with those, they're closed down at 2 o'clock. Well, you know, I'm still working. So that's a big issue, and we need to know that up front, or have what is that vendor's response to be able to help us on the West Coast in that scenario. Go to the next one. So more with the vendor evaluation, what does that technical support look? Do they have an internal sales team, or does the vendor utilize a manufacturer's rep firms? Are you going direct, or are you going through somebody else? And how active is the vendor in working with A&E firms, consultants, specifiers to push their products and solutions? If you're really big into getting certain types of jobs, you're working with certain A&E individuals, is this vendor, are they working with those same people? Are you guys on that same train, getting the same place, or are they kind of leaving you up to do these things yourself? Are they a true partner? What is the sales process? Where is the product sold? Sometimes you get surprised to find it's on the internet, and can get it at a much lower price, or is it something that they're not going to sell direct to the customer? You've got to ask those questions too. Are they aligned with your preferred buying model, distribution, direct? What do you want for your company? And you want to describe the vendor's consumer and or commercial end user marketing plan. Again, are they going to go to your customer directly? What does that look like? And our next. All right, and then next is, does a vendor provide any marketing collateral? Are they going to help you? If you don't have a big marketing department in your office to be able to put together pretty little pamphlets that show what you can do or what this product can do, are they going to help you? Do they have that collateral, videos, demos that you can put on your tablet to be able to show to your customer? Are they helping to help you to reach that end user? And then what kind of payment? When you're looking at these vendors, what are their financial terms? What is their payment that they're looking for? Is it a 30-day term? Is it going to be a 45-day? You've got some customers out there that maybe you've negotiated terms and it ends up being a 60-day. Are you going to have to pay your vendor now in 30? Or can they work with you to set aside some and maybe have a little bit longer time to turn that over? Talking to them, asking those questions up front of how they would work with you, especially on some large jobs that maybe are coming down that the customer's not going to pay you in that 30-day time frame, and you're going to be financing that job unless your vendor's working with you. Do they offer any lines of credit? Does the vendor offer a dealer program or any other incentives that can help you along, that can help give you benefits at the end of the year or give you some percentage off or so forth? And I think one of the biggest things is, as you establish your relationship with your vendor, have that vendor come into your office to meet with your internal evaluation team, product evaluation team. When you have that, again, that face-to-face, and those questions could be answered, you're making sure that what this vendor can do for you is in line with what your company goals are. Everybody, again, is on that same page. And again, we talk about communication being so powerful. That would be a way to do that. From the product evaluation side of things, does the product meet the quality and reliability that you're looking for? Is this going to be something you're going to have a problem going back out and having to fix or replace? That's a big deal. Has the product been on the product or service, has that been on the market for a while? Is it been established, or is it something that has it's brand new and we don't know what's going to happen once we start installing it? And then, have there been any recalls or outages on this product or any other products in the last 5 years? What does that look like? And again, having that factual information before you make a commitment with the vendor is where you want to end up going. How many installations have been completed and what were the results? How many products have had to be replaced in the field due to product failure? Is it bad out of the box? what does that look like? What is their return policy, so forth? And how much demo equipment will the vendor provide? That's big. If that vendor wants you to go out and sell that product and you want to go out and sell that product, are they really helping you by giving you demo equipment? Are they giving you are they charging you for it? What does that look like, and does that fit in with your company goals that you want to hit? Gather your references from existing customers of the vendor. Sometimes that's just picking up the call or picking up the phone and calling maybe somebody that you know cross country that's doing the same thing. That's where ESA really comes in handy with this. You can talk to different people that aren't necessarily right in your geographical location, and you can get some usually really good feedback on that vendor. Did the product solution meet your market needs to your satisfaction? These are some of the questions to ask. Was it a product that functioned to your satisfaction? Was the support provided to your satisfaction? And would you recommend whatever this vendor is to another company? Again, that's really a big pro that ESA gives to us all, is you can pick up that phone, you can talk to companies that will be able to be straightforward with you. And what type of product warranty does the vendor offer? And then what does that vendor RMA process look like? And the last part of the product evaluation is, what is the advanced ship policy? You want to determine the pricing structure. As you're looking at that new product, what is that pricing structure going to look like? You want to beta test it. Who, what, where, when? How are you going to use it within your own product offerings? And you want to test that product and sort of try to break it, and don't let your customers be the guinea pigs. And I'm sure there's a whole bunch more we could add to that, and those are things that this is just an idea of where people can start. And I'm going to turn it back over to Shannon.
Thanks so much, Deanne. That was super helpful. And hopefully everyone on the call is learning some new things and picking up some new ideas as you start to go through figuring out which new products and services you want to add to your business. So this section, what we'll do is we're going to move into a handy tool that's included in the guide, and that's our vendor scoring system. So what we've done is we've actually pulled together a bunch of different criteria for you that you can actually customize to meet your own business's needs. So when looking at new vendors and their products, you want to make sure that it's going to meet customer feature and function demands that you're hearing from your folks, and it's going to innovate and support the product solutions that you have already in-house that you're offering. So we've actually identified 13 different evaluation criteria. And the criteria here are actually going to be in alphabetical order only, so it's completely up to you as to which criteria are the most important to the current needs of your business. So here, we'll just kind of go through them one by one. A lot of this is tied very closely to what Deanne has covered in the checklist for you, but it's really, we've kind of pulled out the 13 important areas that we think every business should be evaluating on. And then also, as I mentioned, you can certainly add your own as well, and we'll show you how you can do that. So the first here is licensing requirements. Where applicable, are there a minimum number of seats, et cetera, as Deanne had touched upon. And then market saturation. So really taking a lot of the questions in the checklist and kind of pulling them together and grading on overall market saturation. So how many other dealers are selling the products in your area? Are there exclusivity options, et cetera, as we've covered above in the checklist? From a marketing perspective, does the vendor really help you support or help support you from a marketing perspective? Are they helping to provide collateral and meeting your customer needs, and also making sure that they're kind of following the new industry trends and supporting their partners very well? Also, we have operations, and so evaluate how the vendor will develop a business relationship with you to include administration, communications, accounting, sales, and support, all of those critical areas within your organization. You want to make sure that you have a really strong understanding, as Deanne was mentioning, before you move forward with a vendor or a product or service, as to how it's going to affect all areas of your business. From a product perspective, again, you want to evaluate the product set completeness, the core technology capabilities, reliability, and then innovation and product roadmap from that vendor. Are they going to be a vendor that you can stick with for the long haul? Is it going to be something that you're going to continually have to start looking for new options? And how does that work into your personal business model? References, the customer experience and reputation. There was a lot there in that checklist that covered this whole section here. So making sure you have answers to all of those questions and understanding what customers are saying about the vendor and its products are obviously going to be extremely important when you're scoring vendors side by side. Also, sales and pricing. So evaluating the vendor sales channels to determine if the vendor is aligned with your needs and preferred buying model. So as Deanne had mentioned, do they sell online? Do they sell strictly through distribution? Do they sell direct? You want to make sure you're considering all of those different factors and how they may affect your business and your customers, and then also consider employment and pricing terms and conditions as well. From a support perspective, you want to make sure you're evaluating the speed, quality, and the follow-up from the customer and technical support teams that they have in-house. Certainly, if you are experiencing trouble before you've really committed to them or really signed on, that may be a red flag that you want to consider and make sure that you're really staying on top of. Because once you become a customer, how is that going to change? Is that going to get better or worse? Something that you would need to determine, but certainly something that you want to make sure you're evaluating early on in the process. Also, the training requirements. So how much does the vendor provide? As Deanne had questioned, is it online? Is it in-house? How many hours is it going to take to get your staff completely up and running on the new product or service? So you're really making sure that you're planning out ahead of time and understanding what those needs are going to be so you can absolutely make sure that it's not going to negatively affect the daily running of your business to add this new product or service. And then vendor responsiveness. Evaluate if the vendor has a history of listening to market needs and adding feedback into the product roadmap, as we've also kind of covered above. So we also have here the vendor terms, all the financial terms that we were mentioning, including payment terms, lines of credit, and any other terms and conditions, or on the positive side, incentives that a vendor may be offering you to switch over to them. From a volume perspective, you want to understand if there's any minimum requirements in terms of purchases or incentives that they're going to be offering from that perspective, as well as a part of a dealer program or tiered partner program, and what does that look like for your business, and how could that positively or negatively affect you. And then warranty, so evaluating the product warranty backed by the vendor. So this is a sample evaluation matrix that we've put together where you can see down the left-hand side here, this column covers everything that I just mentioned in terms of those 13 evaluation criteria. And this is just showing you how you would rank if you were looking at 4 different organizations that may be offering a similar product or solution. The scoring system over here is described as high is 3 points, standard is 2 points, and low is 1 point. So you can see here in this matrix that company A stacks up the best. They have 28 from a rating perspective. And company C over here has ranked the lowest. So they came in at a 20. What we've done here is we've actually developed a way that you can figure out an approved list. So to make the approved list in this example, with 13 points of evaluation, a vendor should score higher than 26 points to merit consideration. So heading back to the sample evaluation matrix, you can see here that only 2 vendors should actually be in consideration moving forward, which would be company A and B because they've scored 28 or 26. C and D didn't make the cut. What we've done here is I just wanted to make sure that I highlighted that you can certainly add additional criteria that make sense for your business, as I mentioned at the beginning. And the formula to recalculate this for the approved list score is as follows. It's going to be 3 times the number of criteria. So if you have 20 different points that you want to evaluate on, it would be 3 times 20, which would be 60. And then 60 times 66.6%. That number is going to give you the minimum score to make the approved vendor list. So everything that we're showing you here can be highly customized for your business, and you can certainly take different parts and pieces that make sense within your organization and or for the products, vendors, or solutions that you're actually going through and evaluating. And what I wanted to do now is I'll turn it back to Deanne to actually walk us through the cost-benefit analysis section as well.
So now you've made a decision that it looks like this product would be a good place to go or a service would be a good place to go, and you've established what vendor you want to use. But the next piece is really what's that cost-benefit analysis? Are you really looking at everything that we've talked about, taken into consideration, and now what does that mean in dollar cents? And is that a go or no go with moving on to invest in that project or not? So cost-benefit analysis, or a CBA, it can help a business assess the benefits that's anticipated from any new product or technology investment, what those costs are to introduce those new products, and what the costs are going to be to support the changes resulting from it. When you're looking at the cost-benefit, you want to make sure that you're expressing the benefits and the costs in a net cash flow. In monetary terms, it's going to make a whole lot more difference if something's going to be adding to your bottom line versus taking away. And you want to look to see if that's going to be something that is a project that will add or destroy to the value of your business. You want to make sure that you're looking at all the incremental costs associated with the acquisition of a new product or technology. Those could be the non-recurring, the labor, capital investment in certain operations and services, or the recurring, the personnel, the training, supplies, materials, or maintenance and repair. Be sure that you're taking every last bit of it into consideration. What potential cost of not making the investment could cost you. So if you choose to not move forward in this particular area, is that going to cost your business in the long run? So the CBA, when you're looking at, you're analyzing the future values in the present. It's important to convert the estimates of benefits over costs in today's dollars. But you have to be confident in an estimate that will receive the further of the estimate is. So, for example, how long will a new technology meet current customers' needs? How long is it going to take to get it really up and going? Two key factors that influence the results of the CBA is how far a company estimates into the future to identify the benefits, and the assumptions that form the basis of the analysis. How long is that ROI going to take, and how long do you want to keep it up? The net present value, or the NPV, is based on the following: inflation. So the purchasing power of a dollar will be less 1 year from now than it is today. And I know I didn't hear what everything ended up being today when they talked on where inflation was going, but if the rate of inflation is 5% for the next 12 months, it's a dollar today will be worth 95 cents in 12 months' time. The loss of return on investment, an investment today will forego the future income that could be earned by investing it conservatively today. For example, if you have a dollar in the bank today, it may earn 3% simple interest at a rate of 3% compounded annually, which in 12 months results in $1.03, assuming 0% inflation. And so the last part there is an additional benchmark for the evaluation is payback period. How long is it going to take you to recover those estimated costs? What is that break even for that product? Here's an example of an NPV, and it's really something that if you go in and you pull this whole thing down, you'll be able to look at this a little bit more clearly here. And next is the cost-benefit analysis. I'll let you move it forward, Shannon. So once you've gone through your whole cost-benefit analysis, if you're investing in the new product, results in a positive NPV, it's going to add value to the business, so that would be an obvious go. But if the number is negative, it's going to destroy the value. So you have to look at it in the real monetary terms. And in conclusion, Shannon, you're taking that one, right?
Sure, I'd be happy to. So, Dan, thank you so much for walking us through the financial side of things. I think it's really important just to kind of pause here for a minute and just highlight that even though a new product or solution may sound exciting and your customers want it, if it's going to cripple your business financially, it's not worth bringing on board. And I think that really making sure you're going through that financial evaluation aspect is critical to your business, because you do need to ensure that you're still going to maintain positive cash flow and or make sure you have the financing solutions in place that you need to invest in potentially a new product or solution that you're going to add to your business. So I just wanted to kind of highlight that. You obviously want to stay in business, and the main goal of bringing on these new products and technologies, I'm sure, is to grow your organization. But to keep, something to keep in mind is that our members certainly can't be all things to all people, and sometimes it does make sense to stick to your core capabilities as well. And so hopefully a lot of the information that we've presented here today and some of the things that you may already be doing in your businesses will be able to make sure that you're making those educated decisions and not getting yourself in trouble by adding something into your organization that just might not make sense And then conversely, on the positive side, hopefully this is also going to help you more easily identify the things that you should be adding to your business to really help fuel that growth that you're looking for. So as Deanne mentioned in conclusion, we hope that all of these tools that we've kind of outlined here today are going to help you walk through this process. We recommend that you start with the checklist and kind of work your way through the scoring of the vendors and then completing the cost-benefit analysis. The worksheets that we had showed in terms of the sample evaluation matrix and that net present value worksheet that Deanne reviewed are all part of the guide that you can easily download so that you don't have to recreate these things. In fact, the NPV worksheet even has the formulas built into it. So we're trying to make it as easy as possible for you to utilize these tools right away. And then once you've made your decision, you want to make sure that you're monitoring your results to ensure future success. So once you've actually decided, hey, this makes great sense for our business, we're moving forward, don't forget that you want to continue to maintain that scrutiny and make sure that it is something that's still contributing positively to the bottom line of your company. So that really kind of wraps up the presentation here. I wanted to remind everybody that you can enter questions into your question or the chat log here, and Deanne is happy to answer anything. I'm also happy to answer, and we do have Michael Pope on the line as well. Michael, you can say hi if you're not on mute.
Hello, everybody.
And Michael is our vice chair of our executive management professionals group as well. So if you have questions, as I mentioned, please feel free to type them in here to the question log, and I'd be happy to field them to Deanne and Michael. Deanne and Michael, I do have one question for you here, and that is, how much has this tool been used so far, and what kind of feedback have you been receiving?
Hi, this is Michael. So my engineering team has started to use this tool for our evaluation process, and they found it to be very good so far, and they have not made any changes to it, which tells me something because I usually like to do that.
And my team had, since we had a little pre-advanced knowledge of some of this, we did the same thing as Michael's group and started working through some of it, and we were able to add some different areas that fit for what we were doing in reflecting on different vendors to go with and different types of products to move forward with. So it's been very well received. The team in general feels that it's very inclusive of all the different areas that sometimes we forget to touch on. So the feedback's been very positive.
Awesome. The next question that I have here is from somebody asking, would you actually recommend going through this process on everything that you're evaluating in terms of new additions or upgrades to products, or how large of an investment should this be to actually go through this process?
For me, I find more of the value in any additional types of services that we want to move forward into. Services that are going to require additional personnel to be able to do some of the professional services that we've begun offering. So from my perspective, this whole piece really tends to have more value from where are we going in order to move our company to build more RMR and provide more service that maybe isn't a tangible product, but what we can do for our customer. So from that standpoint, that's what we've looked at. It may be, like I mentioned before, going to a mesh radio, there's a big investment. If you don't have people out there selling and converting your panels into, communicating via mesh network, then that can be an issue. That investment kind of takes a while to start paying for itself. So for us, that's what I see. What about you, Michael?
I'd agree with that. I mean, to us, if you're choosing a new category or a major vendor where there's competitors and things, and you want to, it's very easy to get enamored with one thing and not look at the whole picture. If I'm just picking a product to solve a specific need, obviously that's probably not as important. But if you're going to do something that changes a major supplier or puts you into a new category, I would certainly think that you'd want to go through this vetting process just to make sure you're looking at everything you should be looking at.
Awesome. And I can actually take this one. Someone had just typed in, can this presentation be sent via email? And Absolutely, that's not a problem at all. If anybody else is interested in receiving it via email, certainly just send me a quick email. My email is right there on the screen for you. This is Shannon, and I can definitely get it over to you right away. So that's an easy one. And I'll just kind of add to what Michael and Deanne were mentioning as well. We've actually been receiving some very strong feedback. Deanne and I had presented this presentation on site at the Electronic Security Expo, and we were getting really great interactive feedback from that session from some folks that, I think were very appreciative of the fact that there was just a lot of great new ideas for them. And I actually got a call after the session from somebody who said that it was something that they thought was quite revolutionary and a really well-needed tool in the industry for folks to use. So that was exciting, and so we certainly hope that you guys here on the call today are also feeling the same way and benefiting. If there's any other questions, please feel free. Again, you can continue to type them in, and we're happy to answer those. But as of right now, Deanna and Michael, I don't see any more.
Okay. So if there's no more questions, I just want to encourage everyone to keep the conversation going. All the executive management professionals are invited to attend the 2015 ESA Leadership Summit, and that's taking place on February 8th through 11th at the Point Hilton in, say it for me, Shannon, Tapatio?
Tapatio. It's the Point Hilton Tapatio Cliffs Resort.
I was like, how do you say that? Cliffs Resort, and it's going to be in Phoenix this year, which is exciting for me. We're introducing the new networking opportunities and a one-on-one appointment scheduling at this year's events. Attendees can expect a very impressive lineup of keynote speakers and high-quality content that's going to be delivered in the seminars. For information, please visit the website, the ESA-summit.com. And I do have to say, if you can bring some of your executives to this this event, it's a well-done event. There's a lot of good opportunity to network, and also to really grow the connections with your executive team as well.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And we will have registration opening as well by probably the end of September, so within the next couple of weeks for the Leadership Summit. So you can visit it at ESA-summit.com. But Deanne, I think you might have been adding something else there. I didn't mean to cut you off.
And then I just want to also remind everybody that, just as Shannon had done, the recording of the webinar and a copy of the PowerPoint presentation is available in the EMP resource library at esaweb.org, or as Shannon mentioned, we could send it to you via email as well. If you'd like to receive the CEUs for this webinar, please contact Shannon directly, and well, it was up there. It's shannon.murphy@esaweb.org. And I just want to thank everybody for participating. We appreciate your time and hope that you found the content useful, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.